Yeah, so I was listening intently, and I totally agree with the child and the importance of healthy children and so on. So maybe just starting with the children, and of course, I'm not a mental health expert, but I am a researcher, and I have reviewed very closely hundreds of cases, both in the U.S. and Canada. A study that I am looking at now. And I do have some good news to report, which is that family law, for the most part in North America, is now paying attention. And so I am seeing more cases that have had to go to court, which I believe ideally they would not end up in courts in the first place. But the judges are getting it because they're seeing it all the time. And they are making, or they have been making, directives that do not work, such as parenting plans. And so parenting plans only work if both parties are cooperative. I don't believe the child, the child has a cancer which is preventable, whereas a lot of cancers aren't preventable. And the child is really not the problem. The child is the outcome of the problem. And so the child ends up with a cancer. And I agree there that it's, because of what's happening with that child's parents. But treating the child is, I would like to see it never get to that stage. So now to just turn it a little bit to my research, yes, we know that in about 87% of separations / divorces, they are as amicable as possible. So in that case, there are plenty of ex-partners who absolutely hate each other. They can't even look at each other. So they adopt a program of parenting, which is called parallel parenting. And that may even mean that they've got a third party who transitions the children from one parent to another to make sure that the child has more or less equal time and influence from both parents. And that enables the child to sort of figure out for itself that both parents, love him or her. And that's all a child should have to worry about, is that child is receiving as much love as is possible in the universe. So if we then look at high conflict divorce, which is the other 13%, I totally agree with what Dr. Neer is saying. In high conflict divorce, there's parents that will bicker till the ends of the earth, and that has to stop, So that's where you need things like parenting plans that are enforceable and actually are enforced early on. And you need default equal parenting from the point of separation so that there is no conflict about who gets the kids and when. I mean, these are not the realm of child decisions that are appropriate. The kids should never have to think about that. So in those high conflict situations, I think Dr. Neer's got all kinds of really good ideas and lots of experience about what works. I'm talking about parental alienation specifically. I never, stray out of my lane. I'm only about parental alienation, which is a small part of what are sometimes called high conflict divorces. The uniqueness of parental alienation, though, is that it is counterintuitive because you only have one parent who is uncooperative. The other parent has the ability to, is diplomatic with the other parent, is cooperative, tends to be quite passive in order to placate the controlling parent in order to see their children. And they will, I know of a case right now where upon splitting, the dad in this case, he'd go to his ex-wife's house and pick up the dog poo in the backyard because then he could see the kids. So like when there are those kinds of really bizarre blurring of boundaries between what is an intact relationship and what is a separated one, the kids are already confused. So, right from the start, in terms of prevention, there has to be a mechanism in place so that parents know that should the relationship end, it still means their child gets more or less 50-50 time with each parent, assuming that both parents are healthy people who were cooperative, loving, capable prior to the divorce. So we are excluding, of course, real, violence, history of violence, and those kinds of things. We're talking about where both parents are the good enough parents and were actively involved in their children's lives.